Good evening once again. And as I said, I'm so happy to have all of you. And I'm glad that Elsa is joining us all the way from the UK. Welcome, Elsa, Njoki, and Stephanie, right here in Nairobi. You're most welcome. And I know your time is very important, so we will continue as the others join in later. And those who won't be able to make it, there will be a recording. Each one of you will be able to access the recording. And I'd like to draw your attention to an experience where you had someone. I can hear some sound. Could everyone please mute? Thank you. Think of a time that you met someone and you talked to them, and somehow in your heart you felt like there's something about this person, but I can't really put a finger on it. How did that feel for you? This is exactly what happens when you meet someone and what they're saying is totally different from how their body language is. And that essentially is why presence branding is really important, because you can have a refined external image, but I can tell you for sure your inner presence speaks louder than your external presence. And welcome. This is the Presence Branding Program. My name is Neema Njoroge. I am a UK certified RTT therapist, and I'm going to go a little bit into what RTT is. And prior to being a therapist, I was an SAP sales experience person and also a teacher with the Breban schools. So be rest assured, I have the experience that I need, all the information that I need from my vast background to engage you and to help you in this journey of yours. I welcome all of you to take part in this transformative experience. As someone who experienced a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, imposter syndrome, I made it my mission to make sure that we do not lose opportunities just because there are things or life is happening behind the scenes. Because every single day, we have different things happening in our lives that we can't control. But you know what we can control is how we show up. And this is precisely why I created this program, whereby you can be able to put whatever is happening in your life at the back and show up as best as you possibly can. So far, if you're ready, send a thumbs up or write the word ready on the chat so that I can be sure we're on the same page. Fantastic. So obviously I am glad to have you on board. And as I said, here we make sure you have a calm inner state so that you can project a powerful external presence. And here's how we do it. Making sure that you're able to calm your nervous system on command. Because sometimes life happens. In 2 or 3 minutes, the other day, I started thinking about a friend of mine who is no longer here anymore. And I felt really sad. But in the next 5 minutes, I was going to go into a meeting. Do you think I had the luxury of time, or even the people who are in the meeting, to look like someone just died? No, I didn't have that. So all I did is I made sure I have the tools to calm myself down to bring my demeanor back to how I want it to be so that I can show up fully and be present to the engagement that I had. And essentially, that's how you build a powerful presence despite everything else that's happening behind the scenes. And I want to remind you that you already have this power within you. We just need to bring it out and refine it. And here's a powerful reminder, which has been a lifeline for me, because I have had a few breaks here and there. I've changed my career a couple of times. And most of the times you wonder, what if I continued with what I was doing before? Where would I be now? Just take a moment to think about it. And sometimes, life makes us feel like, you look at someone else you're in the same class with and you're like, oh my goodness, they look like they've progressed a lot in their life. But remember, you are never behind. You are right on time because you are growing. And your presence will expand day by day. And so here's what we're going to do in the next 4 weeks together. I will help you be in tune with your inner presence. Be able to notice when your feelings are changing, when your demeanor is changing, when you're not relaxed. And now with that, once you notice, then you are able to use the emotional regulation tools that we are going to talk about here and bring out your confidence, your best self. And with that, you're going to build a powerful personal brand. Because guess what? People don't care about what you're selling or what you have to offer. They care about who you are, and that's the person they're buying. So be rest assured that as your inner world shifts, your opportunities always expand. And here are the problems that most of professionals struggle with in this day. Type in the chat if you think any one of these is affecting you right now. Whether there are 2 of them, 3 of them, even all of them, you can just say all. That should be fair enough. And I can assure you, overthinking the mental loops is way more common than we'd like to admit. Anxiety. I remember last week I was at an event and one lady came up to speak and she was literally shaking. And after the meeting, I spoke to her and she told me, you know what, I almost fainted up there. I was literally shaking. I didn't know what to say. And this is someone who has been running their business for over 5 years. And here they are in this one moment. They were very anxious about talking about their business. And guess what? They were only supposed to talk for 1 minute. Only 1 minute. Can you imagine? So it's really something that's really affecting us. And I think it's a high time that we deal with it and make sure that we move forward confidently. The imposter syndrome, procrastination, feeling invisible in meetings. This happens a lot by ladies who are in the corporate world. And for sure, it's not a capability problem. Because like this lady, she had run her business for 5 years. She knows the ins and outs of all of it. But what happened to her? Just 1 minute she couldn't speak. It's her nervous system. It was trying to tell her, I don't think you are safe. Please, be alert. I don't think you are safe. And her body was reacting like there was an attack or somebody was chasing her. Because our nervous systems are meant to prioritize safety over visibility. In simple words, your mind doesn't care whether you get to improve, whether you speak up about your business or anything. It just cares about you being safe. And we always wonder, where do all these patterns come from? And I'm sure you guessed it. Most of these were formed earlier on in our lives through the criticism, embarrassing experiences. Somebody said something and you felt it in your heart. And guess what? Your brain and your body stores these memories to protect you. And guess what? Whenever you encounter a situation that is similar to that one, your mind reacts like you're going through that experience over again. That's why you would wonder, why would someone react as extreme as they would? Maybe if they have fear of cats, a cat would be walking over there, it's not even approaching them, but you find that person is so scared, they're shocked, and you're like, it's just a cat. You wouldn't understand because the person's mind has already gone on overdrive. It's like, this cat's gonna jump on me, it's gonna bite me, it's gonna scratch me, it's gonna kill me, you know? That's how the mind works. And oftentimes, these patterns become a huge limitation to us. And so here's how the nervous system reacts. When your brain senses danger, it activates fight. So you find that most people who have aggression tendencies, defensiveness, or very confrontational, they are always in fight mode. Now there are the other types who are flight. And you can tell me in the chat if you are fight, flight, or freeze kind of person. The flight, they avoid, they will walk away, they will be like, I can't talk to you right now. That's the flight. And the freeze is shutting down completely. And I have a sister who is like that. Like if you confront her and you start telling her, oh, why did you do that? She completely tunes you out and she'll literally not know what you said. Completely. And that's how powerful the brain is. It can literally do anything within seconds just to protect you. And now you understand where the overthinking comes from. The procrastination, the hesitation, you know? You hesitate because someone one time said something and you're like, I don't think this is a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't do it. And you find that a lot of people looking outside, they look at someone and they wonder, why are you not doing anything with your life? And I want you from today to have empathy towards people like that. Because it's literally not laziness. Can you imagine if your body has frozen and you're supposed to maybe run? How do you run if your body has frozen? Your legs can't move. In fact, I know of a tribe, a story is given of a tribe that went through a lot of trauma. They saw their family members being killed in front of their eyes. And guess what? Their minds were so powerful. They were like, this is so bad. This is so bad that you witnessed this. You saw this with your eyes. And up to today, that tribe, children are still being born blind. Why do you think they are blind? Because of that traumatic event, their mind said, you know what? Let's shut down this vision. If it has to make us feel this bad, like, I think that's the worst thing that can happen to you, to see your family members being tortured in front of your eyes. Think of it. That's how powerful the mind is. And scientists have tested the people in the tribe. They have no gene in their system that has blindness at all. It was purely through the experience of seeing their loved one experience those traumatic events. So our biology always reacts to safety. It's not all doom. The good news is that your brain can change any day, anytime. You just have to make the choice, to make the decision that you have made today, showing up on this call and being ready to learn how to improve your life, to improve the lives of the people around you. And I applaud you. Because one thing for sure, the nervous system can regulate and your beliefs can be changed. And that's where RTT comes in, which is a powerful modality that works with the subconscious mind. I like to explain the mind like an iceberg. No, there's the top part and the bottom part, which the top part seems a bit small, and that's your conscious mind. For example, what I'm seeing in front of me, your beautiful faces, and the subconscious mind is where every experience, every emotion, every feeling is stored. So you can imagine you might be looking at something, but what is happening in your subconscious is totally different, because it's drawing from that day this happened to you, and that day this person said this to you, and it made you feel some type of way. And it becomes almost your life story. And how RTT helps is that it helps you identify exactly where this limiting belief started in your past. This belief that made you start procrastination, where it came from. This belief that made you not believe in yourself or not be confident, where it came from. And after that, then you understand what specific emotional memories shaped your patterns right now. And this is something that a lot of us have experienced. If you have someone who was in a really bad relationship, they tend to have or to get into a relationship with someone who is similar to the previous one. Why? Because the nervous systems feel safe, because it can predict the behavior of that person, because it has experienced it before. So someone would say, they just felt right for me. No, they weren't right. They were just familiar to you because you've experienced it before. And after understanding and uncovering all that, you reprogram, you change the neural pathways to support your new empowered realities better. So for example, if you grew up or had an experience whereby you don't feel confident in yourself. In fact, today I was talking to someone and they were telling me the way. No, I felt so confused and I was almost going into this dark tunnel. And they said, yeah, I know, now I know it's because of this and this happened when I was younger. And that's the reason I do this work, is because when you help people shift their beliefs, their confidence comes back naturally. the feeling of safety for their nervous system, it comes back naturally. And in this program, we're going to go into how to regulate the nervous system, release these limiting beliefs that have been holding us back from applying for that job, from talking about your business when you have an opportunity. And then you get to build your presence confidently, the narrative that you want to tell to the world, not what the world thinks about you. Because I know most of the times you are fixated on what will these people see or what will my parents think. But for me, I'm always about what is it that you feel inside of you and what is it that you want to pursue in life. And once you have that clarity, go for it, run for it. And in week 4, will be all about showing up with confidence and stepping up into your next level era with confidence, being visible both in person and online. In this age of technology, there's no way we can avoid being online. That's where a lot of people find us. And to give you a fun fact, there was a time, around the time I started my business, I was posting randomly on LinkedIn. And one of the people who are seeing my content reached out to me, and they currently live in the UK. And they said, "Oh, I've seen your post. I want you to help me with this." Just like that, I was just posting randomly, but yet someone all the way from the UK saw my content and they reached out to me, and they were a client on a retainer. That's how powerful your online visibility is. And I'm here to help you with that so that you can get started. And here, I want us to make this whole process fun. I know sometimes webinars can be boring and things like that, but I would like you to take this very seriously and know that every day you post a daily reflection on our WhatsApp group, you get to have 1 point. And towards the end of the program, we will have a reward, a big reward for the person with the highest point. So this is up to you, for you to show up. And this is not just for the program. It's for you to show yourself that, you know what, I can do this. I can show up for this, show up for myself. And let me tell you, when you show up for yourself, even things around you and people around you start noticing it. I remember when I started working on the anxiety and panic attacks I used to have, I was noticeably calm. And one day my daughter said to me, "Oh, Mom, nowadays you are calm. You don't shout at us anymore." In that moment, tears were just rolling down my eyes. Because in life, when you have children, it changes you. Everything you want to do, you do it for them. You want to want them to live a better life than you did. And that's essentially why I decided, you know what? I'm not going to pass all the trauma that was passed on to me onto them. I have to do it differently. So this trauma has to end with me, And if you're able to post content in terms of publishing a piece of your story, you get 3 points. Why? This is because people love to hear stories about what happened to you and how you overcame And that is what really encourages people. And they're like, you know what? This person has gone through something similar to me. I know they can help me. You know? And you can think of any kind of business, any kind of career. Once people notice that you are going through the same challenges as they did, they are sure that you can help them. So I want us to get into how do you notice when your nervous system is struggling or needs safety, if we can express it like that. Because usually what happens is when your nervous system feels uncomfortable, and in this case, stressed, what happens? You notice a tight chest. So like when my son would, my first child was used to be really sick and used to get these like asthma attacks. And he would have a very tight chest, and you would hear the wheezes even when you are far away from him. And you notice those people usually have shallow breaths, very shallow, quick breathing. And normally you're supposed to breathe in for a bit longer and breathe out slowly. But these people breathe. I don't know if you've ever seen people like that, but those are extreme. But usually it starts very slowly and then it progresses if you don't deal with it. You can have a fast heartbeat and also the mind racing. And mind racing is very common than I thought. Because you know what? It's almost like your mind is spinning like this and you can't focus on just one thing. So you can imagine if your mind is functioning like that, how successful are you going to be in your business or in your career, whatever you're doing? It's definitely going to be hard. So anytime you notice like your heart beating fast, and if you'd like to get how your heart is beating, you see this, there's a spot here behind your ear. If you touch it and press a little bit, you can feel your heartbeat. So that's an easy way for you to notice when your heart is going fast. And the tight chest is easy. The mind racing. Say for example, if you have a million things that you need to do for the day and you're wondering, what should I do? And you find yourself starting one thing, leaving it there, going to another thing and leaving it, going on to something else. That's a characteristic of the mind racing. And in turn, it causes overwhelm to the nervous system, to the mind, and even to the body. And eventually, it even causes health issues. That's why this is very, very important. The scientists say most of the illnesses, they start in the mind. So all your body is doing, it's asking for safety. And that's why you are here today. And here is a practical calming technique that you can use starting right now, starting today. Anytime you feel tense, you inhale, and that is breathing deeply for 4 seconds through your nose. Remember, it's through your nose. And breathing out for 6 seconds through your mouth. And then repeating this cycle for at least 30 seconds to a minute. And there are people who do this even longer, for 5 minutes. There's a book club that I have been a part of for a long time. We do 5 minutes breathing. And what does this do? It calms your mind. You know the way you can wake up in the morning and then you feel like you're just all over the place and your day seems to just go so slow. That's why this breathing is very important. So I'm going to invite you to sit as comfortably as possible so that we can practice this nervous system regulation. So now breathe in deeply for 4 seconds through your nose. And then exhale slowly for 6 seconds through your mouth. Now the second time we are going to breathe and hold. So breathe in deeply for about 4 seconds through your nose. And hold for 4 seconds. And then exhale through your mouth slowly. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in deeply. Hold. And exhale slowly for 6 seconds. So anytime you are having a tense nervous system, you can do this and do it as long as possible. When you find it hard to keep it up, when you feel like you are being distracted, you can count. For example, with children, as I was a teacher in school, and we would tell children, breathe in and count up to 10. So they'll breathe in and out, in and out. And by the time they get to 10, they feel relief. The tension that they had within their body has already gone down. And you can practice this anytime. And I'm hoping that I'll get feedback from you in the group about a moment where, these are 3 points, guys, a moment where you felt so tense and you decided, let me just breathe, and tell me how it feels, how it goes. Welcome, Irene. I can see you joined us. And here's another exercise that you can do. The body is meant to connect with the ground as much as possible. So all you need to do is, if possible, remove your shoes and have your feet on the ground. And if possible, step on the ground, not on concrete, the ground. And then relax your shoulders. And how do you relax your shoulders? You tilt your shoulders down, because most of the times we are usually like this, especially when you're on your phone, when you're working on the computer. If you want to relax, you pull your shoulders back. You feel an instant difference. And why do you feel that difference? It's because when you're slouching down like this, it affects your diaphragm. So your breathing has reduced. And remember what you said about breathing. It's the means of life. So if you're not breathing properly, then it means something is not going right in your body. And then take a slow breath. Breathing in, if possible, can hold and then release. This helps your nervous system reset, start relaxing. If you're feeling angry, you start noticing that the anger is going down, the sadness is going down. You can even lie down if you can, because lying down signals to your system that it is safe, it's okay. Yeah. And like we said, your presence begins with your body. You know, how your body is feeling is how your presence will be. So, you know, like if you have a strict mom, if you know you have done something wrong and you see her hands on her waist like this, you know you are in trouble, right? Yeah, so that's exactly how our bodies behave. So, can you imagine if there's something at the back of your mind and you're not able to keep it at the back of their mind? It will definitely spill over. And here's how you're going to reduce overwhelm in your life. I know there are so many things that demand our attention, but you know, you're just one person. In a day, you cannot do everything in the world. So, what I like to do is focus on three things, just three things. And those things, you're going to do them well. And as you practice this, you will notice that as you focus on one thing, you get to build momentum on that thing. Let's say if it's your work, building your business, building your career, it becomes really important because you're going to see progress. You're going to feel more confident about what you're doing. Number two, and this is a must, every day, make sure you can write 3 small wins, even if it was a small thing. Like now, today, I promised my coach that I'm going to, go for a walk, and I went for a walk. It's something really small, and the walk was 2 to 5 minutes. It's something really small, but I celebrated. I was so happy about it. And it gave me a lot of, confidence and momentum to know that I can do anything that I put my mind to. So it doesn't matter. In fact, those small wins are the ones which compound to big wins. Like we say, the journey of 1,000 miles. Maybe you can finish that one in the chat. And then focus. Focus your energy on what matters most. A lot of times, like even as a business person, you find you're trying to do 100 things here and there. You want to post on social media, you want to talk to the client, you want to create, resources for your business. And it's a lot. So what I've noticed works is decide in the morning when you're choosing your top 3 priorities. What do I want to prioritize today? And how do you know what to prioritize? Think of these tasks in terms of, can someone else do it for me? And is it going to directly generate income for my business? Because sometimes, and I know this because even when I started my business, I had so many ideas, but I didn't know which one to focus on. And so I would find myself starting this one and trying to wonder, what if this one doesn't work? Let me try this other one. It helps when you focus on the tasks which are directly customer facing. Because at the end of the day, we are doing this for our customers. We want them to feel the best. We want them to appreciate our services. And this is how you help your brain not to get overwhelmed. And do you know, this amplifies your results. And this brings me to the end of our presentation for week 1. And in week 2, we are going to go into the limiting beliefs. What are these beliefs? How do they show up? And how you can deal with them. And at this point, I want to welcome any questions that you might have, any observations, Any comments? I'm glad to have all of you. And I can see we had amazing feedback here on the chat. See, there's overthinking, freeze and flight. Depends on the situation. There's freeze and fight. Wow. The feisty ones, right? I think I'm a fight and flight as well. I see the racing mind. Yeah, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, for sure. Fantastic. Stephanie says it was a fantastic session. We'll work on having one income generating win every day. Awesome, awesome. Elsa, I'll work on the media foundation. I really want you to get the most out of these trainings, and I would like you to ask any questions you have in mind. No question is small, is all questions are important. And I would encourage each one of you, just come up with any random question about anything we've gone through, or any question you've had about, your life, your business, with regards to your nervous system, how stress affects you and affects your life. And the other question that I get a lot is, how can you help someone who is struggling, really? And honestly speaking, it's a really hard thing to do, unless that person is at a point where they want to be helped. It's hard. And the worst mistake that you can do is to pressure someone to do something about it, because they'll feel like you don't understand me. They feel like, why are you doing this? So what I usually tell people is that ask them questions. Questions are the best. So maybe you can say, the way you're going about your life, where do you want to see yourself in the next year or 5 years? And when you ask such a question, someone will stop and think, and they'll be like, do I want my life to continue like this for the next year? And most time, the answer is no. And then you can ask them, okay, if you want to change your life, if you want to experience something different, what do you think could help you? That way you are making the person feel heard. They feel like you're actually trying to understand them. And it really helps. So then you are able to see, okay, what do they think about the situation and how do they want to change it? And I'd like you to comment on the chat. Do you have any income goals, any business goals that you want to achieve in the next 6 months? And I will make it my mission to help you the next 6 months, or it can be a year. For example, myself, I want in the next 6 months to have done company trainings. I know 6 company trainings is ambitious, but I know people really need this information. They really do. And you know what really strikes me is that even the time I was struggling myself, going through everything I was going through, I just needed to hear just one sentence. And this one sentence that I had was, you can undo your life. Doesn't matter where you are. And I felt like, are you serious? I can stop these panic attacks, this anxiety that is crippling. I was like, you know what? I have to find a way to change my life. And that's basically how the mind works. Once you pay attention to something, the mind goes to work and says, oh, you want this? Okay, fine. Let me figure out a way to find it for you. And that's how you come across interesting articles online, interesting YouTube videos, and you're like, I was actually thinking about this. How come it just showed up on my YouTube feed? That's how the mind works. And what it does, it tries to mobilize things around you to make sure what you want to achieve happens. And guess what? If it works well for the positive things, it also works for the negative things as well. And that's why you hear people talking about try to focus on the positive. It's not for nothing. They don't want you to pretend. They want you to make your mind more attentive to the positive things so that more positive things can start happening to you. More positive things can show up in your life. And I love that Elsa said her goal at the moment is to manage her time. And you can see how the priorities, once you have the priorities, it gets easier. And as you celebrate the wins, your mind wants to make that keep happening for you. You see how all this ties in? And Haswa says the next 6 months to be the best business growth strategist in Kenya. Amazing, amazing. We are here rooting for you. And you're going to do this. So, as you think about these goals, ask yourself, what are the 3 things? And write them down. Scientist says writing, it connects your mind to whatever you are writing, as opposed to, writing a text on your phone or on your computer. So write down 3 things that you need to do to achieve this goal that you have. Being the best business growth strategist in Kenya. What are the 3 things you need to do? Maybe you can do this one for Haswa. Let's say create proposals to speak to people in management positions at companies so that they can know about your services. Because one mistake that business people do is that they think someone will find me. They don't find you out of the blue. You have to apply, you have to tell people about what you do, what you want to achieve. And I know a lot of people who they're just randomly, like, there was a story I was listening to. There was this girl who had a deformity in her teeth, and they were talking somewhere with her mom, and there's a doctor who had them, and the doctor said, you know what, I'm going to help you. You are too young to be limited by this situation. He said, I'm going to operate on you for free. Guess what? That's how the girl was able to be helped, and now she's confident, she's successful. Like CSF says, a monthly profit of 1 million from my business. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. I love the big goals. They're even inspiring to me. 1 million from my business. And it's doable. It's possible. 100%. And I know, Steffi, you are on the road to do this because we have been talking. And I think you have everything it takes to achieve it. 100%. So again, what are the 3 things that you need to do to achieve this? It was one time I was learning about how salespeople work, and I was being told that they do 30 minute meetings every week. These are salespeople who work online. So they are talking about 30 meetings every week whereby they are practicing how they're going to talk to their clients. And then they do 30 applications as well. Because obviously, if you're applying for a job online, then these people don't know you. They're like, how are we sure you can do the job? But if you do so many repetitions of the same thing, you get really good at it. And so I was like, wow, 30? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. I was like, wow, this is a game of mastery for sure. And I see Njoki wants to scale her income to a steady monthly income. Amazing. And I'm assuming your steady monthly income is $1,000 and above, right? Yes, I am manifesting that for you. Fantastic. Njoki agrees with me. And this brings us to the end of our meeting. I had a fantastic time talking to all of you, and I can feel the energy. I can feel the energy that things are shifting. Because you know the way you meet someone and you click, that's exactly how I'm feeling. Like you guys are so excited and so willing to put in the work and do everything possible to make sure you achieve your goals. And I'm here rooting for you. And for sure, we are going to do this together. And I'm wishing you the very best. I'll be sending you your activities for tomorrow, but today, make sure you have the 3 things that you need to do to start moving towards your goal. See, Elsa says, thank you so much. I'm glad to have all of you on this call, and I am looking forward to our next call that we're going to be discussing about how these limiting beliefs affect us and how we can get rid of them. Thank you so much for being here, and have a lovely night. You are most welcome, Stephanie. Thank you for being here.